Hello and welcome to Pictorial Planet. My name's John Finch. So in the last couple of weeks we've been diving deeply into using FX55. We've seen how to make it, we've seen how to develop with it, we've seen how to optimize it for our film, and so far we've optimized FP4 and found that the ISO is around 200, which is quite a good improvement, and my development time is around 7 minutes. I think that's about right through further testing. So now I've got those dialed in, I wanted to go out and take some photographs. So I've done that and I brought them back to the darkroom and developed them and I've processed them, and I want you to have a look at those results. I've also scanned them in. So let's take a quick look now at the kind of results I'm now getting with that film and developer dialed in combination. The first print I want us to look at is this one that I took of Findhorn Marina. The first thing I see when I'm looking at the scan, and I've scanned this in on a Nikon 9000 ED, is the sky. It's well balanced and not burned out, which I like in a photograph. I don't like burned out skies. I like detail in the sky. But the second thing that jumps out at me from the scan is it's a well balanced contrast in the image. The shadows are good. Let's have a look at the shadows. The shadows are good. I can see detail in the shadows. Let's find some more to show you. So look here, shadow detail here. So the shadows have come out where I wanted them by placing them in zone 3. And yet there's blacks, good blacks. So look at the steering wheel of this this rib, really good blacks there, good blacks along the side of that boat, good blacks on the rubber on that window. So I'm getting a good balance of shadows and my highlights. And that's important when you are taking photographs. You need to get that balance, because if you overdevelop, you'll lose your sky. If you underdevelop, the sky will become just grey and mush. There'll be no whites, like this. No whites. You need those. You need a bit of white and you need a bit of black in your photograph in order for the contrast to be right for your eye. So it's well balanced, I think. It's sharp. I mean, it's no doubt about it. This is sharp. Look at this. I mean, we can see every detail of the rigging of these boats. Move across to this side here and look at the sharpness. So I'm pleased that it's just rendering. There we are. I'm very pleased with the sharpness, but we know FX55 is a sharp developer. Yeah, the blacks have come out nicely. I am pleased. Let's look at the print. So as you can see, it printed really nicely. The sky came in really nice. I've done a quarter stop burn on the top of this picture. Very little burning at all to enhance the sky. So because I've brought down the development time, it's bringing in the highlights back into an area where they can print. Everything is nice and bright. There's nice whites on the boats. I haven't lost any. They haven't gone grey and muddy. And look at this nice leading line here of the railings and going down the jetty. It's a nice balanced picture of leading lines. It's no prize winner, I know that, but it's an interesting picture, and I think it shows pretty much that we are getting a good quality print now from this dialed in developer. The second print we can look at is this one here. It's of Finton Bay, and it was shot straight into the sun. The sun is just off the left-hand side here of the shot. You can see the light bouncing off the water. Let's take a closer look at that. Shooting into the light. It's one of my favorite types of photography. I don't know why, I've always been drawn to it. I think it's that punchy contrast that you get. Bright whites, bright specular highlights, and dark shadows. Well, in this particular image, it's slightly different, isn't it? Because I don't want the dark shadows. I really need these boats to stay light. And in fact, the sun bouncing off the water here as it comes towards the camera is lighting up this side of the boats. You can probably see that they're sort of lit up slightly, which I found very attractive when I looked around and saw this photograph. I really wanted to make this as best I could. So nice scan. It's scanned in very easily, and Crawley said that about this developer, that it was formulated to scan well. He believed that by keeping the grain slightly larger and more evenly distributed, then it would create a better scan. And I'm getting that from the magazine article of when he released this formula to the public. So I'm not kind of making that up. But let's again just zoom in, just have a quick look at this. It's nicely sharp. I can read the name of this engine, this Mercury engine on the back of this boat, which is nice. That's always a good thing when you can see that kind of detail. And of course, all the rigging is nicely sharp, the boat's sharp. You would expect, I mean, let's face it, I was using the SL66 here with the 250mm lens on it, and they're good lenses. They're Zeiss lenses, so it's going to be sharp. But I like the balance of the low tones. These are all around about zone 5 and below, and they're all very nice and evenly balanced out. The sky is very light. I could probably have used a yellow or an orange filter, but I didn't want to put filters on because I wanted to demonstrate what we can do now that we've pulled back on the development, that we're pulling back on the burned out skies, and we're starting to bring the sky detail into our photographs without any effort. It's automatic now. The developer's doing it for us. Now, prints are usually better than scans in a situation like this, just by the way the silver works in the print and the way the contrast works. So let's go back and have a look at the print again. So again, I gave quarter of a stop to the sky, but there wasn't much in the sky. There's a little bit of a cloud there, but there wasn't much. I just basically did that just to darken it a tad, to balance it from the bottom of the photograph as well. The light is beautiful, the way it's printed on this water. You can see the specular highlights are lovely. So we're not losing anything in our bright side, in our specular highlights. Look at this, look how light that is. It's almost paper white, it's beautiful. And this area here was where I metered, and because this is all in shadow, I metered this at zone 5 and then opened up half a stop. So I wanted it slightly lighter than zone 5, which is, I think I've successfully got. They don't look too dull. The boats look nice, very sharp. I don't think I could get a better result than that unless maybe I used a staining developer. And the last picture to look at today is this one here of Cawdor Castle. Let's take a close look. And it's come out as a nice scan. It's not a bad digital image. But when we go back to the print, you'll just see that the print brings this to life. There's something about printing paper, the contrast you get, which you just can't, in my opinion, simulate very well digitally. There's a magic to it. I don't know what it is. But before we go back, let's just have a look at it. The ISO 200, I think, is working out very well for me. The shadows here, this is a big tree shadow right in front of me. It's not too dark. It's quite nice. Not bad at all. Now, if I was underexposing it by 2/3 of a stop, these would be very dark, and I'd start to lose detail. It'd be going from zone 3 down towards zone 2, which is very dark shadows. So I think the 200 is really working out well. The shadows on the building are pleasant, really nice. And zoom in and let this render. This is sharp. I mean, it's a lovely sharp scan. I'm very lucky to have this scanner. I brought it back from America with me. It's still rendering. Let's just let it do its thing. There's this Indian fellow. He was such a nice man. He was on holiday from India, and I was chatting to him about cameras. He was a bit of a camera guy himself. He'd had a Minolta for many years and was telling me how much he loved that Minolta. I wish he'd had it with him. It would have been a lot of fun to look at it. But I can even read here on this shield, "Be mindful," it says, which is amazing at the distance we are from the castle itself. One of the things that attracted me to this image was the tiles on the roof of the castle. When it's rendered there, the tiles were really attractive. They've got a lot of light little bits in them. They weren't all dark, and they seem to catch the sun really nicely. Let's move over to the other side. There, you can see it quite well here, the way the sun is bouncing off these tiles in a really nice way. Now, when we go back to the print, you'll see how well the printing paper catches that contrast. It's quite beautiful. Yes, so I like this image a lot. It's a nice picture. There's lovely contrast right across. I'm trying to hold it with one hand and point with the other, but you see this lovely contrast where the sun, which was coming in from the left-hand side and glancing across the castle, has caught these lovely highlight areas, which I think it needs to add to the contrast, because otherwise this is just a dull stone building. But very nice with that sunshine. Lovely sky, look at that. Again, just a quarter stop added to the sky. So we really have improved our skies. Something that I love in photographs, a good sky. The clouds were gorgeous that day, and I was very lucky. You can see a few people standing around that were looking at the castle, going into the castle and so on. I had to wait a good hour to try to get the least number of people I possibly could, but nevertheless, I think this is lovely. The white of the window stands out nicely. Look at that. Very pleased. Lovely image. Cawdor Castle. So I hope that you have enjoyed this little look into some processed photographs this week, and to get an idea of what you can expect if you dial your film and your developer in like this. I would hope you'd all go away now and choose your favorite developer and film and start dialing it right in and getting results like this as easily as possible. Because now that I've got these easy to print photographs, I can now work on them much easier as well. There's things I can do even more to enhance them, but at least the time at the darkroom table under the enlarger is much easier for me, and I can start to really enjoy the art of photography. Less manipulation and more just enjoying making photographs. Thanks very much for watching. Big call out to my patrons. You guys are marvelous. You make all of this possible. I wouldn't be able to do this for everybody if it wasn't for you. So each one of you can be proud that you're part of these videos. You have a little bit of ownership in what I'm putting out, and I thank you so much for that. For everybody else, please buy my book, join Patreon. It's patreon.com/JohnFinch. Become a patron, support the channel, and I will see you guys next week.